to do something a little bit different. We're going to do some canning. Of course, can't just be normal canning, can it? Can it? Can we can anything normal? I can't tell you. Now, oh, and the funny part is we're making Cowboy candy. And then, of course, we're, you know, can't leave well enough alone, you know me. Come on, let's get started. Yeehaw! First step is to sanitize everything. Anything that's going to touch this needs to be sanitized. Your magnetic lifter, funnel, all of it. Everything needs to be sanitized. Everything but your hands. Don't put your hands in the boiling water. Jar lifter. See, it's going to go into boiling water anyway sooner or later, but just to be safe. Can't be too safe. I'm going to get these up to a boil like this, let it boil for about 5 minutes. Make sure you put your lids and rings and everything in there. We've boiled these up for about 5 minutes. We're going to fish out all of our parts and get the jars ready. Do this gently. Don't pour boiling water all over yourself. Not fun. Now for this, normally the recipe calls for 3 pounds, but I cut the recipe in half so we can do 2 different batches. But just slice up between 1/4 and 1/8 of an inch thick, about 1.5 pounds in this case of jalapeños. Hold on to your hats there. This is 3 cups of sugar. And yeah, that is half of what you're supposed to use. 2 teaspoons of garlic powder. 1/2 teaspoon of celery seed. 1/2 teaspoon of turmeric. And 1/2 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. The good stuff. Add 1 cup of apple cider vinegar to this and bring it up to a boil. Alright, once this gets up to a boil, you want to turn the heat down so it gets down to a simmer. Give it a couple of stirs. We're going to let this simmer for 5 minutes. For our ramped up version, we're going to get us 3 poblanos. We're going to get 5 habaneros, 5 serranos, and still 1.5 pounds of the jalapeños. We're going to get all that chopped up and ready while that's boiling over there doing its thing. Notice the gloves. Wear them. Do not touch your face. Now we got our candy base. You can see it's kind of starting to get a little syrupy, and that is perfect. Now we're going to add 1.5 pounds of jalapeños to that. And give it a stir. Get them all in there nice. And let that simmer for about 4 to 5 minutes, just until you'll see them start to get a little bit darker. The centers will kind of turn like a medium yellow color, and they'll soften up. You don't want them too soft because they'll just smash in the jars. Right. Also to this, we're going to add about 1.5 tablespoons in the pouch here, or what's the dill, spice mix. And we're going to fish out our jalapeños and put them in their jars. Or not, or just throw them all over the counter, whichever. You're going to want to fill these almost all the way up. Leave about 1/4 of an inch up to the top. And you can kind of pack them in a little bit, that's fine. This may happen when you're doing your jalapeños and canning anytime. You may end up with a house jar. A jar that's not quite full. That one's about half full. Just goes straight into the refrigerator. It'll be absolutely amazing. But that's what they should look like when you're ready to go. Now you're going to take this and you're going to put the spurs to it and boil the snot out of it for about 6 minutes. Boy. but I'm busy. Better not be messing with me ma's recipes. I am not gonna mess up me ma's recipe. Now, go sit down. You get some later. After 6 minutes of hard boil, you want to ladle that syrup right down in there. Bring it up till it just covers these guys. If you have any extra of this syrup, it's really amazing to cook with. You can do all kinds of fun stuff with it. Just use your imagination. Now, once you've got them in there, just go ahead and wipe that rim down on the top really well. Like this one's got nice gooey jalapeno bits on it. Just make sure it's nice and clean so they seal. Ow. And they are still hot. Alright, and you just take your lids and plop one on each. And then these go back in the boiling water, nice and sealed up. Don't put these rings on too tight on the top. Make sure they're snug, but don't lean on them. They need to have, the air has to be able to escape. And they are still very hot. When it starts to boil, go ahead and put your jars down in here, and they need to be boiled for about 10 minutes. We're also going to process a few other jars here for our next batch. 10 minutes later, for half pints, if you're doing whole pints, do about 15. Just pull this out and let it sit somewhere and cool. Alright, you just gotta let these sit and cool. You can see this one's already popped in. The little buttons will pop in when they get to a vacuum from the air inside cooling down. And then it's ready to store. They sit for about, let them sit for about a week or so before you eat them, or, you know, I mean, if you can't wait, you can't wait. But they will kind of mature and get a little bit better over time. Now, let's go to the other one. Same recipe as last time. To start with, get our sugar and our vinegar. Our spices, and bring it up to a boil. And just like before, we put in our little spice bag, and what's the dill, and then the fun. Also added in what we call a little strawberry onion here. They're onions that are grown right with the strawberries. They're super tasty, real sweet, but if you can't find those, a regular onion will do. And then just going to add in our peppers. And then give them a little boil for another 5 minutes. Fill these up. Yep, and then boil the snot out of this just like last time for 6 minutes at a full boil. Ladle all the candy goodness in on top of it here. And then it'll get processed just like the other one too. And then we're gonna taste them. And there we go. Got the little Cowboy candy, little something extra. We'll see how old Cletus likes that. Hey, big country. Well, what you think? Son, I'm gonna be more proud. Oh, well, thanks, man. Appreciate that. But if you tried my version. Well, all right. Yeah! Woo! Oh boy! Woo! Son, that is hotter than PG. Can't do that one. There you go. Straight from the horse's mouth. It's delicious stuff. Sweet, spicy. It's really versatile. You can put it on anything. I put it on pizza. Oh boy. That little extra bit of juice, I put pineapples in it and let it sit overnight in the refrigerator. That's the stuff right there, let me tell you. But anyway, make sure you give us a like and a subscribe if you're not already. And we'll see you again next time, alright? Have a good one, everybody.